with food prices, baby formula shortages, and feminine hygiene product shortages, and especially the price of gas, because the Democrats want it that way. What we are going through right now is not some series of unfortunate events. This was planned. The elite leftists can yammer on all they want, on whatever they want. I'm going to prove it to you. Right now, the Democrats say this is a transition. Yeah, they're doing bottom surgery on the economy. It's a transition, all right, from a thriving, energy-independent economy to one with gas prices that can hit $6 or even $7 or more a gallon. And we have to have baby formula airdropped into this country like we're some third world dump. Believe it or not, look at this headline from Reuters. Headline: oil from U.S. reserves sent overseas as gasoline prices stay high. Quote, more than 5 million barrels of oil that were part of a historic U.S. emergency reserves release to lower domestic fuel prices were exported to Europe and Asia last month, according to data and sources, even as the U.S. gasoline and diesel prices hit record highs. About 1 million barrels per day is being released from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve through October. The flow is draining the SPR, which last month fell to the lowest level since 1986. U.S. crude futures are above $100 per barrel, and gasoline and diesel prices above $5 a gallon in 1/5 of the nation. U.S. officials have said oil prices could be higher if the SPR had not been tapped. And here it goes, the real kick in the pants. Are you ready? Cargoes of SPR crude were also headed to the Netherlands and to our Reliance refinery in India, an industry source said. A third cargo headed to China, another source said. China. We sent oil. Joe Biden sent oil to China. You know where Hunter Biden was doing business that Joe Biden lied about? Oh, he knew. And he knows. Remember those documents that were released that showed Hunter Biden's ties to CEFC China and an oligarch named Gongwen Dong? Remember that? Hunter Biden was brokering a deal between a state-run China oil company and a Russian oil company. But Joe Biden said he had no idea. He didn't? Take a listen.
Hey, pal, Dad. It's 8:15 on Wednesday night. If you get a chance, give me a call. Nothing urgent. Just want to talk to you. I thought the article, at least the thing online, that's going to be printed tomorrow in the Times, was good. I think it's clear. And anyway, if you get a chance, give me a call. I love you.
He said throughout the campaign, I don't speak to my son about his international business dealings, I guess, except when I do. So as far as oil shipments to China, what happens when Karine Jean-Pierre is asked about this? Pure, and the sources, administration officials, it's pure theater.
And then there's a Reuters report out this morning that says that more than 5 million barrels of oil that were released from the emergency oil reserves were exported to Europe and Asia last month, and some of it reportedly was actually heading to China. Is the administration aware of those reports? And does the president mind that some of this oil that was meant to ease pain for consumers is headed overseas?
I have not seen that report, so I would honestly have to go look into it and see what the truth is in that statement that you just laid out, and see exactly what's happening. I just have not seen that report.
Let's see, it's in Reuters, and you're the press secretary. The Democrats and the media keep screaming, it's not his fault. It's not Biden's fault. Yes, it is. He said he was going to rescind leases issued by Trump. He said he was going to block thousands and thousands of acres of land, specifically in Alaska, for exploration. He signed an executive order, one after another, blocking drilling offshore. The price of a commodity is mostly determined by futures. But according to the Biden administration, everyone involved in oil owes it to him and his party to just lose money.
That are abroad.
Thanks, Green. How did the president go from blaming high gas prices on Putin to big oil to small business owners now?
Well, here's the thing about that, Peter, is when you look at, as of this morning, when you look at the crude oil, and when you look at wholesale oil prices as well, they've declined about 15%. And so retail gas prices, however, have only declined just about 3% over the same time period as we have seen with crude oil prices and the wholesale gas prices. And meanwhile, those same retailers are profiting, their profit have gone up about 40 cents, nearly 40 cents in that same period of time. So what the president is saying is that everyone along that chain, along that production chain line, needs to make sure that they're doing what is possible, their part in bringing down the cost for the American people.
She can't even convince herself of that. That she knows. The shipments to China, nothing. Then there's the boy Blunder, who, like Biden, wants to blame evil oil executives.
We should be acting as a country to reduce costs in areas that are, frankly, easier for policymakers to control. The cost of insulin, the cost of prescription drugs, where we're really pushing for legislation that would reduce that cost. Making sure that we act on the president's proposal to lower the cost of childcare, lower the cost of elder care. A lot of things that we could be doing right now that would be durable and make a huge difference in families' pocketbooks, in addition to the immediate steps that are being taken to try to keep gas prices under control. The other thing that continues, we think, to be very important is to hold oil companies accountable. Just about everybody in this country is frustrated with the extraordinarily high price of gas, except for oil executives who've made it clear they're not going to invest in production when they're as profitable as they are. That's why the president has called for use it or lose it rules, that if an oil company is just sitting on production permits or leases and not using it to do the kind of production that could lower the cost of oil, that they're held accountable for that.
For a Rhodes Scholar, he sounds like he didn't even attend Econ 101. So I'm going to do this for you right now. Here's the proof that this is all part of the plan, whether it's borders, whether it's energy prices, whether it's baby formula or food prices. Joe Biden said quite clearly, he wasn't kidding, he wasn't making this stuff up, and he wasn't stuttering when he said he was going to put the country on an irreversible path between 2021 and 2030. Watch.
The third thing we have to do is we have to set sort of guide rails down now. So between the years 2021 and 2030, it's irreversible, the path we've set ourselves on. And one of which is doing away with any subsidies for fossil fuels, number one. Number two, holding them liable for what they have done, particularly in those cases where you're underserved neighborhoods and you know the deal, okay? And by the way, when they don't deliver, put them in jail. That's what I'm not joking.
The guide rails are down. We're on the irreversible path. This is the path. It was a plan. This has nothing to do with getting you to buy a plug-in or anything like that. This is about the left wanting to take over the energy sector as a whole. They don't want you driving. They want you riding around in government rail. They want you to buy energy from government so they can control it. And we must address immigration here. As we speak right now, tens of thousands of people are streaming across the border. As the population increases, so will the pressure on the grid, the food system, and everything else. This is the plan. These are not accidents. These are not incidents. It's not Vladimir Putin. It is the plan of the left to collapse the economy and build it back, well, they'll say better, but it's going to be awful.